What if I told you that a key player for the Toronto Maple Leafs might soon be packing his bags for a fresh start? Speculation is swirling around a bold move from an ambitious new team looking to snag one of our stars as they prepare for a major shakeup. This isn't just any rumor. It's a serious threat to our roster and could change the landscape of our beloved team. Are we ready to see a cornerstone of our lineup potentially walk away? As the clock ticks down to free agency, it's time to dig deep into what this could mean for the future of the Leafs. Mitch Marner's future with the Toronto Maple Leafs could be hanging in the balance, and as a die-hard fan, it's hard not to feel the weight of every rumor swirling around him. Recent reports have surfaced suggesting that the Utah Hockey Club is making aggressive moves to pry Marner away from Toronto. Can you believe it? Here we are, at the edge of our seats, waiting to see if the star forward will remain a Maple Leaf or if he'll don a new jersey come July. As many of you know, Marner is nearing the end of his 6-year contract and is set to become an unrestricted free agent. This is a pivotal moment not just for him, but for the entire franchise. With 16 goals and a whopping 54 assists in just 52 games this season, he is undeniably one of the cornerstones of this team. His playmaking ability and on-ice vision are second to none, and losing him would be a monumental blow. The discussions between Marner's camp and the Leafs management have been ongoing, but as of now, there's no deal in place. It's a precarious situation, and with Utah eyeing him as a potential acquisition, the stakes are even higher. They're not just looking to add a player. They want to reshape their identity, and Marner could be the centerpiece of that plan. It's a bold move by Utah, and one that could shake up the league. What stands out to me is Utah's ambition. They're not just content to be another team in the league. They're positioning themselves to be a serious contender, with a revamped branding strategy on the horizon for the 2025-26 season. They're clearly looking to make a statement. They're reportedly interested in not just Marner, but also Mikko Rantanen, who's also hitting the free agent market. This kind of competition could force the Leafs to rethink their strategy. Now let's talk about the implications. If the Leafs were to lose Marner to Utah, it could send shockwaves through the roster. Sure, they might pivot to targeting Rantanen, but is that really a solution? Rantanen is a fantastic player, no doubt, but he's not Marner. The chemistry he has built with players like Austin Matthews and John Tavares is irreplaceable. Fans, I have to ask, do you think this was the best decision? Honestly, I'm torn. On one hand, I want Marner to get what he deserves, a long-term commitment from the Leafs. On the other hand, I can't shake the anxiety of watching him possibly slip away. It's a double-edged sword that every fan of this franchise grapples with right now. The reality is, if Utah is willing to spend to attract top talent, the Leafs may find themselves in a tough position, one they've been in before. It's essential for the Maple Leafs to act quickly. They have the space under the salary cap, as David Pagnotta pointed out, but will they leverage it effectively? The ownership group, led by Ashley and Ryan Smith, is clearly motivated, and if they see an opportunity to land a player of Marner's caliber, they won't hesitate. The pressure is on the Leafs to step up and secure their star. As I think about the potential loss of Marner, I can't help but feel a mix of frustration and hope. The organization has invested so much in developing him into the player he is today. The idea of watching him flourish in another city is heartbreaking, and I know I'm not alone in feeling this way. The Toronto Maple Leafs are in the midst of some pivotal decisions, and as a passionate fan, I can't help but feel a mix of excitement and anxiety about what lies ahead. The latest rumblings suggest that Mitch Marner could be gearing up for a significant contract extension, one that might even surpass what Austin Matthews received in his previous deals. Can you imagine that? Marner asking for more than Matthews? It's a bold move, especially considering how closely tied their fates are in this city. To put this in perspective, Matthews' first extension came in at 14.27% of the salary cap, and his second was even higher at 15.07%. Marner, on the other hand, signed his first deal at 13.37%. If he were to stick with that percentage, we're looking at a potential cap hit of around $12.78 million. That's not just a number, it's a statement. It would also place him above William Nylander, who currently sits at $11.5 million. Now, let's talk about John Tavares. His situation is also intriguing. Speculation suggests he could be signing for around $8 million, whether with the Leafs or elsewhere. It's all part of the larger puzzle, and the Leafs need to consider how to balance these contracts while still building a competitive roster. And then there's Matthew Knees. He's a restricted free agent, and there have been whispers that other teams with more cap space might come sniffing around for an offer sheet. This is where it gets really interesting. The Leafs have a lot to juggle, and they need to make sure they keep Knees on their side of the ledger. But let's pivot back to the Canucks for a moment. They're reportedly on the hunt for a top-6 center, and they've been quiet on the Brock Boeser extension front. It seems like they're a bit unsure about committing to him for 8 years. I can't help but think, are they making a mistake? Boeser has talent, but if they're hesitant, what does that say about their confidence in him? Meanwhile, the Canucks are also dealing with their own contract negotiations, particularly with Elias Pettersson. They've taken him off the trade block for now, but with a no-move clause looming, it raises the stakes. If they can't improve their situation, how will they handle the upcoming draft? It's all a bit of a circus, and I'm glad the Leafs aren't in that position. At least not yet. Back to our boys in blue. The urgency to secure a top-line center is clear. If they don't make a move before the trade deadline, this search will inevitably push into the off-season. That could change the entire landscape of the team. Do you think this was the best decision? Honestly, I'm torn. It's a gamble, but it might pay off if they can land the right player. And now, what about Marner's potential extension? It's a double-edged sword. On one hand, he's a phenomenal player who has proven time and again his value to the team. On the other hand, if the Leafs commit to a hefty contract, it could restrict their ability to fill other crucial gaps. This is where we need to trust the front office's decision-making. I can't shake the feeling that every decision they make now will echo throughout the coming seasons. The stakes are high, and as fans, we're invested in every move. The last thing we want is for these years of building and dreaming to slip away because of a misstep in contract negotiations. So, I want to hear from you, Leafs Nation. What do you think about the potential Marner extension? Is it worth it, or should the team take a more cautious approach? And you, what do you think? I want to hear your opinions down below. If you enjoyed this analysis and want to stay updated on every twist and turn in the Maple Leafs saga, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Activate the notification bell to get all the latest updates. We're in this together, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for our beloved team.